88.1 FM, WCWP.org. Wanted to play a couple of more obscure John Lennon cuts. Everybody plays Imagine. Everybody plays Watching the Wheels, which is really hard for me to get through. So some of the happier things. Number 9, Dream. And right before that, from his rock and roll album, John Lennon's take on Stand By Me. I'm Bernie. This is Homecoming Weekend here in WCWP. And we are ready for a big announcement here. Da-da-da-da. Here's Pete Bellotti.
Hi, Bernie. How are you?
It's all choked up.
Okay.
Well,
Yeah.
we always have the Hall of Fame ceremony. We started back in 2012. And we are ecstatic to announce our new class, which will be going in 2016 in the spring. It's one of the times in WCWP that I really enjoy is the Hall of Fame and honoring such great people, including the class we have this year. And we're inducting 2 people coming up in 2016 in the spring. One is to my right in Joe Camp, and of course somebody that was renowned throughout this station for many years, worked right next to Bill Moser, Mrs. G, Ann Gaffney. So we're very happy for that, and let's turn it back over to you guys. And Joe, congratulations!
Thank you very much.
It's an honor for me to tell you this, and just hearing the stories about you was just it makes coming to this place more special. And we honor you, and we look forward to this coming up in April.
This is absolutely unbelievable, not to be expected, but this has just been a wonderful part of my life. The part of it that I have spent here, just always learning something. It was always the opportunity to learn something. You came in here every day and someone showed you a better way to do things, and you could bet on that consistently. And when I walked into professional work, oh yeah, I've done that. And not only have I done it, I've done it in a place better than this. I was ready.
Yeah.
I really was.
This place, from Moser to Dan, groomed you to be a professional. And because of a professional atmosphere you would always have here. And we're just so honored that we can induct you and Mrs. G coming up in April.
That's just absolutely unbelievable. And thanks to everyone.
Joe, you were one of the lucky ones. You went right to the big time from here, didn't you?
WHN.
Right, which was part of... well, you were always at NBC, or you would...
Well, I started at WHN with Frank D'Elia.
Right.
Spent some time there, learned the ropes. The place was absolutely rich in talent. All kinds of names. We don't have time for the names. The facility was a dump.
So we hear.
So it was a big trade-off. And in fact, I said, hey, Frank, what happens if we get knocked off the air? We lose our AC power. He said, hey, come here. Let me show you something back here behind the racks. I said, Frank, that's a pile of car batteries. He goes, guess what? That's what you're going to hook up if you go off the air because of power loss. So let me show you how to do it. And then we were off to the races. And I did well there, and then went over to 66 WNBC, the Radio Net, WYNY, and then NBC Television Today Show.
And you just retired after how many years?
Well, 40 years at NBC alone.
Wow. Amazing. Amazing.
And it came and it went like a lightning flash.
Wow. We're so glad you're here, and you're going to be on the air tomorrow, too, right?
Tomorrow I come back, and I'll try it again.
Great.
To get it right at 8 a.m.
Great. Now, thank you. One of the other people being inducted is Ann Gaffney, who was the secretary here at WCWP, but she was so much more than that. She was a surrogate mom, a coach. I think everybody has a Mrs. G story. And I remember she would tell people, like one person I'm thinking of in particular, if he was having problems, she would say, snap out of it, be a man. That's the kind of person she was. And I remember saying to her, I came in one day, I was working part-time at BAB. I was doing one night a week at BAB, one overnight. And I was still doing my show here. And I came in and my mailbox was gone. I'm like, wait a minute, what happened to my mailbox? She said, oh, we needed it from one of the students. She said, do you know, these kids are dreaming about what you were doing, even working one night a week at WBAB. Bernie, do you have a mailbox at WBAB? Yeah, she goes, well, you don't need one here anymore. You've got to fly the nest. So that was Mrs. G. That was her words of wisdom to me. But she was always there. She told it like it is. But she was always so darn nice about it. She was never nasty, never angry. She would kind of hand out this advice or kind of put you on the path. I mean, everybody has gone in there and plopped down in the chair next to Mrs. G's desk and said, I hate to talk to you about something. She was amazing. Jeff, or Joe, both of you, any reminiscences about Mrs. Gaffney?
Well, as a coordinating engineer for a couple of years, Ish Geller and I would put together the remote packages for either concerts or whatever we were covering, and especially football. And the thing that we always needed from time to time was an odd connector or something to complete the remote kit. So I would just boom, 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 boom. Hey, guess what? I know what I'm doing, and I'd go right into Moser's office, start rummaging around in his treasure chest. Eventually, if I was lucky, I would find what I needed, and off I went. But when I went in there, she would come by with that steady look on her face, and she'd say, does Bill know what you're up to? And I'd say, yeah, I think he does. Actually, we talked about this. And she kind of kept that eye on you, kept her eye on you until you were back in the safe zone, which was back here in the studios. But she kept an eye on the place, and when you walked in, she was the first face you would see, and it was always a pleasant experience.
Absolutely. I came in here several decades after I graduated. I walked in the door, she looked at me, hi, Bernie, and she would do that with everybody. She remembered every face, every person.
She had a better memory than a copying machine. She was just right on the money.
Absolutely.
You know the line you used, Joe, about Mrs. G saying, does Bill know about this? Exactly the same line I get. I used to have to write up expense reports for trips for our sports coverage.
Yeah.
When we'd go on the road, you know, we entitled to tolls and miles and occasionally a hotel bill or whatever we had. And I was a terrible typist. I could never really type well. And so I somehow was able to get her to type the reports up in a nice, neat form so that they'd get submitted. And part of to take it a step further, we would get some money back from the Pioneer, the newspaper, for taking their people with us to cover the games. So we wanted to present them with an expense report that was in a nice, legible format. And she was very kind enough to type them up. But she'd take a look at the figures and make a face like like I was pulling something. Does Bill know exactly what's in here? And she would make sure I wouldn't get them back until he had already signed off on them to make sure that I wasn't trying to pull anything. But some of them she'd look at it. Really? So she kept an eye on us, and that's what we did. But we did a good job. Well, we got our, let's say, fair share back from the Pioneer, and
everything worked out, and
everything worked out. But she always kept track of everything, gave me some beautiful reports to hand in, made it look like I knew what I was doing. It was great. That's just one instance of many, but that was a thing that happened on a regular basis, and she always kept a lookout for us. You know, she was our phone operator more times. I mean, how many times did she have to come and chase you somewhere in the studio? There's a phone call for you. Please pick up, one of the extensions and all that. And always hesitated to come in the studio when you were on. Never wanted to come in an air studio. Did you notice that?
She would keep herself
she
right
would
over here.
Stand at a window
and she
would wave or make a gesture. Would never, even when the on-air studio light, she would never come in the air studio. Never. So very, very polite about it. Never wanted to interrupt you while you were on the air.
But she was always here for you.
Always.
You had a mother at home. You had a mother here.
Right. And
absolutely.
The director of broadcasting at the time, Bill Moser, for all those years, Bill had a second job. He worked at ABC Radio and worked evenings, so he would cut out of here middle of the afternoon. And so there was somebody watching over us. We weren't going to get away with anything just because Bill had left for the city.
Well, when she said, when you're through with that connector, could you please put it back in his treasure chest? And then she would check up and keep order in there. And you were accountable for what you did. But it was, like you said, it was always done in a very friendly, pleasant way.
Yeah, and so it's a great job. I think it's a great thing that Ann Gaffney has been elected to the Hall of Fame, and we certainly look forward to that ceremony in the spring. And as long as I'm here just for a couple more minutes, I'd just like to say a couple things about my buddy Joe Honerkamp standing next to me. Joe is literally a year ahead of me here at the station. And so when I came in, he was one of the guys that immediately was so willing to take me under his wing and teach me so much. I was a guy, I knew nothing from a technical standpoint. All I wanted to do was news and sports.
Yes.
But you had to do everything here. We were very short-staffed in those days. So you couldn't just come in and just be a newsman or
just
work.
anything.
You had to you
the
could
whole
do it
thing.
all, but you had to do it all, not just one thing. And that meant learning the engineering side and the board and some of the theory behind that and all the production and stuff. And Joe was such a big help to me. And then as things would have it, it just seemed that I followed Joe wherever I went from there. Joe mentioned when Bernie first introduced him that his first professional job was at WHN. And lo and behold, where's my first professional job? WHN. And who's the guy that they have start training me when I got up to WHN? My buddy Joe. First night teaching me how you handle the Mets radio network. Remember?
That was quite a network. It was about 75 stations.
Yeah, and we got to work together there. And then lo and behold, there we go. We both end up at NBC. And while we took different paths, we end up working together at the FM station up there, WYNY, for all those years together. And we were side by side every morning running the morning drive. You were running the music show, and I handled the newsroom. And then we flip-flopped for the midday session.
And then we have
station that at the time, and I don't know, I think engineering does have something to do with it. That station rocketed to #1 while we were there. And
we had the perfect storm of great operating people in the control room.
Yep.
A program director who knew what he was doing.
He understood, yeah.
Pete Salant.
Yep.
And we were just burning up the charts.
But I got to hang out with this guy every day. So, it wasn't just post for us. We go a long way back. And then we were two of the originals who started this homecoming weekend concept that we're all enjoying. I hope everybody's enjoying a homecoming weekend.
Oh, yeah.
We started this thing in 1977. Another one of the originals actually standing here, Mike Phillips, is here today, and he was one of our original guys. Joel Feltman is here. He's one of the originals, so we have 4 of the 7 guys that started the whole thing 38 years ago. So these reunions go back a long way, and now here they are, 60 hours long and around the clock, and a lot of fun. Excuse my voice. I just called that football game. Pioneers won 27-24. I don't have much
What's
of a
the
throat
name of that
left.
field up there?
Bethpage Credit Union Stadium. But for our buddy Phil Leibowitz out in Phoenix, it'll forever be Hickox Field. So. But Joe, all the super congratulations.
Yes.
Most
Yay.
deserving of the honor.
Telling you that means a lot.
And Bernie, thank you for the few moments to speak.
Oh, sure, absolutely. So we have Ann Gaffney and Joe Honerkamp being inducted into the WCWP Hall of Fame. And Pete, April, we're looking at a target date for the actual induction ceremony. All looking forward to that. So we're celebrating here on WCWP.
Slipping away, sitting on a pillow, waiting for night to fall.
88.1 FM and WCWP.org. We are celebrating the new inductees into the WCWP Hall of Fame. Longtime secretary and more than a secretary, station house mother here, Ann Gaffney, and Joe Honerkamp. Right now, if all goes well here, we have on the phone another one of our Hall of Famers, Bruce Leonard. Bruce, hi.
Bernie, how are you?
Hey, you're on the air.
Oh, what? On the radio?
You're on the radio. Come on, man.
I want to make this very, very quick. Well, Joe answered the phone. I didn't recognize his voice. My old friend. He's talking very quietly. I was thrilled to hear that Joe and Mr. G got into the Hall of Fame. Very quickly, as far as Mrs. G, same thing. I was, at the time, I was news director for a while. I was music director for a while. She was the right hand I never had until Jeff Kroll got there, and then, of course, that all changed. but she was the absolute best. Yes, as you said, she was our mother. She was our friend. She was our mentor. She was fabulous. And then there's Joe. Joe and I took our third-class licenses test. Same day, same building, same place. We didn't know each other. We saw each other standing on a subway platform, recognized each other, kind of talked. From that point forward, we're friends. And we took it all the way up through the professional ranks. I was working at WHLI. I got a phone call from Joe. They need somebody up here at NBC, at YNY. That's how I got into the business. It was Joe Hannerkamp. He knew more about engineering than I could ever know. From day one, I thought we were all going to learn together, and he already knew. If I had a question, go to Joe. He was a friend. He was he could have been my boss instead of somebody on the same plane that I was on at the time. I'm just thrilled that he's now a member of the Hall of Fame. And congratulations, pal.
Thanks so much, Bruce.
You were very, very welcome. And I can't wait to see you. I'm sorry I couldn't be there now, but I'll see you when we have the ceremony in the fall, or in the spring, pardon me, not the fall.
Oh, I hope you'll be here for that. That'd be great.
You better be here, or I'm going to come down there and grab you and haul you up here.
Promises.
Well, thanks for calling in, and we're going to get back to things. As I mentioned, we have some anniversaries. This is the 50th anniversary of Beatles 65, so let's hear some on WCWP.
Oh dear, what can I do? Baby's in black and I'm feeling blue. Tell me, oh, what can I do?
88.1 FM, WCWP.org. A couple of things from The Who and the members thereof. That's Roger Daltrey and Avenging Annie. Right before that, we heard from Pete Townsend and Slit Skirts. And The Who all together, an old one, Happy Jack, here on WCWP. All right, let's try and give some more of these albums away. And I got somebody standing by to talk to here. Okay, so nobody got the first question. We're giving away copies of Robert Plant's Lullaby and the Ceaseless Roar. Okay. All right, so nobody knew his nickname that the band gave him. All right, let me try another one. I'll give you two questions. One is, during the first Led Zeppelin tour, when they stayed at the Hyatt House, known as the Riot House on Sunset Strip, Robert Plant got out on the balcony and looked below at Los Angeles and said something. If anybody knows what that was. And the second question is, name me a band that Jimmy Page played in post Led Zeppelin. Fran looks like she's pondering. What was this? Power Station. I'll give that man an album. All right.
Give that man an album.
That's right. So let's see if anybody else comes. I'm kind of running out of questions. I think I'll see what we can do about wrecking. Maybe these are too tough. I don't know. All right. We'll lower the bar a little bit for the next question. How's that? In the meantime, I have one of our other illustrious alumni, Mike Chimeri. What year did you graduate, Mike?
2004.
2004. And he is known for his jazz programs. You were on earlier today?
No, I was on yesterday at noon. I'm going to be on again overnight at 2 a.m.
Great. Now, Mike is our official photographer, videographer, and it's wonderful because all of our events and homecomings and all of our celebrations, you have been our chronicler of all that. So we thank you. So you do both still photography and video.
And video. I'm shooting video right now as we speak.
Oh, we are? Oh, hello. I didn't know
and
that.
Hello over here.
Oh, you've got cameras all over the place here. Oh, those stealth cameras. So, and thank you for the contribution to WCWP that you were out there, and when people are eating and enjoying themselves, Mike's out there with his camera or his either still camera or video camera, and you have a great eye. You have like this such an artistic eye.
Thank you.
Seem
I've
to
been
really
hearing that a lot over the last few days.
Yeah, you have, and you seem to capture the events, which is often hard to do. But I mean, the candid shots that you take and the video that you take is great. I mean, you really approach this as an art form, don't you?
Yes, I do.
And the results definitely show. So, any comments you want to make about homecoming weekend? What's going on here?
It's been a fun weekend so far, and I was glad to have let it off yesterday. The leadoff hitter, as I said when I was on.
Well, you were, absolutely. And then you're not going to be batting cleanup, but you're going to be doing one other show, right?
Right, at 2 a.m.
2
late
a.m.?
tonight, and then Wilbury Steve after that. Same as last year.
Okay, actually, while we're here, let's take a look at who else is coming up here. Right after my show at 7 o'clock, we'll have Mike Riccio and Bobby G here. Jeff Jensen is doing 10 to midnight. Our old buddy Alan Boritz, who we haven't seen in decades, is going to be on here from midnight to 2 a.m. Mike is 2 to 4. Wilbury Steve is 4 to 6. We have Jay Lapre coming in from 6 to 8. And then Joe Honorkamp will be here again in the morning from 8 to 10. Oh, you must be a morning person.
I'm morning.
Good for you.
I'm on that schedule.
All right.
Happened for 40 years.
Oh, well, it's hard if you've been on it for 40
hard to break.
years. It's difficult. Well, thanks to everybody. Thanks, Mike, for filling us in.
Yeah, I feel like I didn't say much here, but it's
well, go ahead,
still
whatever
good to
you
be
want to
on.
say. You have an open mic.
now I'm drawing a blank.
Oh, okay. All right, we'll come back later if you think of this something. In the meantime,
I'll go behind the scenes again, but still,
okay, thank you.
I love your show, Bernie, and I'm congratulations to Joe and to Ann Gaffney for the getting into the 2016 WCWP Hall of Fame. I can't wait to be there to cover it with my equipment.
Good for you. Thank you.
And mingle with everybody.
Great. Thank you so much. We're looking at 50th anniversaries, too. And this band has their 50th... Whoops,
There's a 50th anniversary component to my show that airs overnight. It's music from 1965 to 2015, every 5 years, except for 1970, because I don't have anything for my collection.
Okay, that sounds good. Yeah, 70 was a 70 forgettable year, I guess. So, 50th anniversary, the Zombies, believe it or not, are celebrating their 50th anniversary, and they are out doing their album Odyssey and Oracle in its entirety. And it is very impressive because lead singer Colin Blunstone is still singing in the same key that he sang in 1965. He is now 70. I've seen it, believe it. It's absolutely incredible, the wonderful voice. Here's Colin and the Zombies on WCWP.
You can turn me on. Yeah, baby, you can turn me on. Oh, baby, you can turn
88.1 FM, WCWP.org. Thanks so much to Ted David for calling in. That was Tom Jones and Sex Bomb from the soundtrack of Sex in the City. And right before that, Marvin Gaye and Sexual Healing here on WCWP. I'm Bernie. Hey, this has been fun. We have Bobby G and Mike Riccio coming up next to take you on through to 9 o'clock tonight. Thank you to all of the alumni, all of the current students, too, who's worked so hard to get everything together and cleaning up and setting up, and thanks to all of them. And thanks, of course, to Dan Cox for letting us run amok on his radio station once a year. So thank you. It's been fun. We have a lot more folks coming up, a lot more fun and games. So hang in here over the weekend, celebrate homecoming with us here on WCWP. I will see you here at 7 o'clock on October 22nd, which is a Thursday, where I'll be doing my Halloween show. Ooh, spooky boys and girls. All right. Bobby G and Mike coming up next year on WCWP. Bye.
This is WCWP. Brookville, New York. LIE Post Public Radio. Hear us at 88.1 FM and WCWP.org.
All right.
You like that, huh?
We're here. I think we're here anyway.
I'm here.
I don't hear anything, but I guess we're here. It's Mike Riccio and Mr.
Bobby G. How you doing, Mike?
One and only Mr. Bobby G. And we are here on the Friday Night Rock Show. No, we're not. No, we're not.
Pay attention.
No, we're not. What are we doing?
It's Saturday. It's homecoming Saturday, Michael.
What are we doing here on a Saturday?
Don't you have your calendar set right on your phone for once?
I'm not supposed to be here on Saturday.
Yes,
I'm going home.
Well, okay. See you later.
WCWP, and we are here, and we are celebrating homecoming weekend here at WCWP, and a very special kind of homecoming as far as the anniversary year goes. Bob, what are we doing with that?
We're going to play the top acts from 1965, and we're going to count them down. We're up to number 37 after this. But that's what we're going to do to celebrate 50 years of WCWP being on the air on 88.1 FM.
That's right. So we're doing what we're going to be doing, as you said. We are celebrating the top 40 acts. And we're going to run like heck and try to get them all in. And we're playing the biggest songs of those acts. And a lot of surprises in here, too, because the way it was done was all the songs that these acts had were put together with the points and figured out with weighted averages. And it's some very interesting results and some acts higher than others that you would not expect because the act with the bigger hit came out lower than some of the acts with the hits up the chart a little bit. So we'll be taking a look at that, and we'll be we have some people popping in tonight, I would think, as we celebrate WCWP year number 50. When did the station go on the air?
Well, we were a carrier current that went on the air October 18th, 1961. That was my birthday, by the way, when I was 13 years old.
October 18th?
Right, 1961. That was a carrier current station.
Okay.
And then the FM actually went on earlier this year on March 16th. And we were part of that show. And we did a reenactment of the original sign-in of WCWP on the air as an FM station. But this is our first chance with everybody, the whole big enchilada of people coming down for this weekend. So we're celebrating the homecoming now in our 50th year.
And it's going to be a lot of fun. And we do a quick recap over here. We started off with the number 40 from Peter and Gordon.
Right.
And I Go to Pieces. They actually cracked the charts in 1964 to start with.
Was Crack in Pieces delivered on your part?
No, there we go. See? This is why I got to cram in 40 songs. See, the more songs I play, the less Bobby gets to talk. The less we have to hear his jokes. That's what the thing. And then number 39, which was As Tears Go By, which was Marianne Faithfull, also Mick Jagger's girlfriend for much of the 60s. And that was the version of the song she had technically first, and then Mick and the boys had their hit with it.
That's right.
And then one of your favorites, number 38.
Oh, yes, the Yardbirds with For Your Love.
That's right.
With Brian Auger on harpsichord.
Didn't you interview him one?
Yes.
Yeah. That's right.
Great song.
Yep. So we're ready to go to number 30. Aren't you just dying to find out what number 37 is?
I'm always dying to find out what's next.
No guesses?
No guesses. It's hopeless.
All right, let's see who number 37 is.
1965, number 37.